the three of us have an IG take.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think the three of us have an IG take. So who wants to start with the IG take?
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, we'll do it like poker. I'll make a bet, and you can tell me: are you out? Are you folding? Are you doing a different bet? Are you raising the stakes? Okay. So I'm just going to say it. The problem is, I might be such a lunatic. I might have essentially already gone all in, because one of my takes is going to be IG is going to win one of the splits. You like that, don't you, motherfucker? You like that, don't you? Here's why.
I can't.
Fold. Yeah, okay, he's folds. Okay. Obviously, you can come with your take afterwards. It's all good. Here's why they're going to win one of the splits. Because everyone else is doing this thing where they're just looking at, like, TheShy, like Kira did, right? I'm getting really bored of these takes about TheShy. Bro, at this point in time, he never played any tournaments well. He was just a bomb the whole time. He was just shit for, like, 8 years in a row. In fact, you know what? Even at Worlds, he was a moron and he got drafted out. Has anyone watched TheShy play? Here's what I don't get. Essentially, at top lane, he was what Hillersang was at fucking support. They either win you the game or they lose you the game, but they still do win you the game. Like, I have seen some, and the reason why I famously am someone who not only is a fan of top laners, but I like the top laners that are very consistent. So normally TheShy wouldn't be the player I like. The reason why I myself even wrote an article in like 2020 or something where I said he's the best top laner ever is because I have never seen anyone do the things he has done from top lane. I mean, if anyone remembers, if you go back to like 2019 and watch those games where he is playing a fucking Vladimir drafted to be late game and he is just like fucking like solo killing people early and then like turning like 2v1 ganks around and like smashing the whole lane in the game. No one can do that. So here's the thing about him. I understand he definitely got way out of pocket in the latter years and he definitely has. Here's the thing. I actually unironically, I'm not saying this to be rude, I would unironically imagine he would actually pass a test that he's some sort of like a psychopath or something. I don't mean as in he kills people with an axe and chops them up. Most psychopaths, if you don't know, guys, don't do that. They're just like a doctor or a lawyer or they work in fucking wargaming or something weird like that. He's the kind of guy where he clearly has no conscience about inting a game. But that's also the genius of his play. And what people are missing with this squad is this. This isn't the IGs where he has to be like my second best player. Bro, he just has to be the wild card. He can actually do finally what in the latter years of his career he's suitable for, which is sometimes he can carry a game. If he doesn't, what I don't get about this squad is the floor on this team looks amazing. First of all, if you know the careers of fucking Rookie and TheShy, they have never had, I guess TheShy had fucking Zhao for a while, but they have never had someone comparable to Mako in terms of like captain, fucking shot calling. That alone is that's the fucking panacea to TheShy, mate. That's actually the player that you might even listen to. If I had to believe TheShy could respect anyone, Mako is like the most legendary probably name left in fucking Chinese League of Legends at this point in time. He's like the ultimate veteran. Then I always thought Gala was good. And what I love as well is I've always thought Gala and TheShy can both have times they're a bit sus, where you've got one of those teams like a Gen G where you can just pick which two lanes you want to carry. By the way, and also the Rookie one, I'm not even worried about, mate. I saw the last 2 years, like he was not that great on Nip, but he had the spring was good. And I thought he was pretty good most of last year. So I'm not even worried about the Rookie angle. Like I can guarantee he's going to be good. So I think the floor of this team looks really good. I think they can sort of offset the problems. So bearing as I think the LPL is actually mega competitive this year. I could see it be really exciting. And with Kira, I don't think it's as much of a slam dunk. BLG wins all the splits. I think everyone's almost penciling them in. This isn't like the JDG roster where you could guarantee they'd do it. I could see them being more up and down. So I'm going to say they get one of the splits somehow. They're not just good. They can actually win a split.
I like I don't know what you think here. The fact that like Thorin is already laying the eggs, playing 4D chess on like not mentioning Rookie that much, but praising everybody around to then come back in 3 or 4 episodes back to like Rookie being baited and Faker from one or any other angle. Like that's really smart from you, man.
And also think about this. This is where, well, here's the thing though, jokes aside, I actually am quite pissed off because here's the sad thing, Sabatine. I know what fans are like. Every fan's saying right now what you're all saying, like, oh, TheShy's fucking he's criminal, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you what, if a Rookie won Worlds with this roster, they'd go, well, look at the players you had. You had all Hall of Famers. Like, I can't win, mate, on this one. So that's why I've got to start at the beginning before they've even played one game. Well, they've technically played the Demacia Cup, but you get me.
If Rookie wins with this lineup, mate, it's absolutely like bonkers. Like, because here's
what's wrong with this lineup? This man's really good.
No, and winning Worlds though with this lineup, I think this lineup.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yes, that's true. Yes,
right, but here's the thing. I think that like styles make matchups. This is my one concern for this team. I actually think BLG is more vulnerable to the scout Pace team because of like the side laning implications, or the home team because he can make Kanavi just like a completely different monster. He can make 369 believe in himself and give him the power of love. Like they can like warp and change these teams in a way that I can see. IG to me is basically it has to try and be a better version or the same version of BLG, and historically, Knight and Bin have been better than their counterparts for quite some time now, and I've not seen any evidence for a while to say like countermand to the otherwise. It's not that Rookie's like way worse than Knight, gets dogged on every lane. That's not the thing. Is that like Knight has quite regularly, even in like head-to-heads, like consistently outvalued Rookie for a while, and then like Bin has, apart from the world semi-final matchup, which it was a mixture of factors, Ben has matched up very well into TheShy historically. So that's like my main concern is that like if BLG, even though I think they will still be the same again, well, the same again as they're a top 3 team in the world, that's still very, 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 very good and good enough to beat most people. The crazy thing for me here, I would actually go for it. I actually think like BLG, I said it for tier 1, BLG cannot lose a single LPL split. If they lose a single LPL split, they should look at this as a failure. Because they had basically the opportunity to upgrade everything. But I cannot hold hands on the IG take. Like I think I've got IG at like the 5th best team in the LPL.
Fucking hell, 5th?
Yeah, I've got them 5th.
Yeah, I mean, I was along this line too. I was like, my take that I wanted to formally make it was like they're not top 3 and they probably maybe even not top 5 in the LPL.
Go for it.
Why? Legends would be better.
Go for it. Go for it. Let's do it.
I am actually a super fan of Rookie. I really like his general playstyle. I'm not that much of a fan of TheShy. I just don't like. I don't think top lane is that much of a carry role in League of Legends. And if you look like, for instance, at Zeus' track record in official matches, he's playing most of the time like just weak side, and especially with the modern era of League of Legends, with like swap lane and top laners always taking the short end of the stick 99% of the time. Like, oh, go to this lane. Half of it has already been killed by someone. It's crashing under the turret. You're gonna get 3 minions. Just live with it. So because of all of this, I think the static League of Legends was like just putting you against your like counterpart and trying to like win the game through that is much harder to execute now. And if he gets a good matchup, let's assume like his legendary like Queen into Renekton, I think there is so many ways to bail out. Like I had an interview with Vulcan from Cloud9 on my channel in French end of last year in December, and he says like there is so many ways now in League of Legends to bail out of the bad matchup. It's like real matchup don't exist anymore in this game, and because of that, I think that this team is kind of built to win through matchups. And there is one other thing is the coaching staff. Dining is a coach that was a T1 when they made the 10-man roster.
Yes. When
Faker was like kind of sharing time and it was not working at all. When this guy left and they started doing like the things that like Faker wanted to do, and they started bringing owner and stuff, like this team became like the team we all know. Then he went to Damwon. This is a guy that like worked. He's a very strict guy, pushing for his ideas. I think he really wants the team to play the way he thinks about the game. I think it's probably the hardest team to do that ever.
Sure,
like working with if you sit down next to TheShy and you're gonna be like, oh, you need to respect that timing because this happens to the bot side. I think you're losing big time. I think none of this is never gonna work. So I think just statistically, coach to players, I think doesn't match that well. The fact that you can bail outside of any bad matchup, the fact that top lane is usually taking the short end of the stick and TheShy is pretty bad at this. The only saving grace is like the jungle support. I think it's very interesting to see JJ and Meko play together, but I don't think that Rookie is that dynamic of a mid laner the way, for instance, the Windy is way more like of a carry role. And I don't think like just stacking 3 carries and a jungle support that's serviceable is good enough in the modern League of Legends to win a league such as LPL. And for all these reasons, I think they're way more in the top 4 to 5, even further if other teams overperform. Whereas I think the top 3 is going to be cemented around teams that not only have these players that now can match TheShy and Rookie, but have a style that's way more dynamic and can play like, this all swap lanes, counter matchup and stuff like this.
Here's another thing actually, and this is where I get a little bit sad. IG is actually an interesting team because they have the opportunity to really abuse the mixture of champions that they have like on their team, okay? Because they've got like Gala, who's got like a really versatile champion pool, Jasun, they've got Rookie. It's just I don't know if the coaching staff is actually going to like utilize that because they're just like trying to get the team to work in the first place. Like I've got them currently at like competing for 6th place with NIP. Where like them and NIP are like the team competing for like 6th place in the LPL right now. But like here's the thing: if NIP won a split, I would be like more surprised if NIP won than if like this team won. Like I think the upwards mobility of this team is much better than NIP. If you get what I mean, like the variance for them to like be really good on a patch, because we can't see the future. Like one of the patches genuinely could be like a split push solo lane swap patch where it's like Jace. And they get to flex it between TheShy and Rookie every single game and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? There's things that like we can't entertain. But I think that like a lot of the teams in the LPL right now are designed like quite well to like beat or like contend with like IG, and the ones that don't have basically got the strongest coaching staffs like imaginable, like the ones you would like 100% ask for. Like GDG has CV Max, Top Esports has Home, and then Anyone Legend kept Tabby. And Tabby almost had that Anyone Legends team like cooking, and they added Tarzan. So I think it just gets so hard for like IG like to find like the space, because a lot of it to me is based on the individual strength of the players. Though I imagine Rookie's still going to be sick.
The thing is, one of the problems is, if people were to ask me, you know, when the people on Reddit say the same thing they say every fucking time Rookie's name comes up. Here's the thing, they sort of admit they didn't watch the games, Aberdeen, because they always ask, what they do is they do what in English is called begging the question. You ask a question where you obviously, it's clear that you're not really asking a question, it's rhetorical. You just mean like, it's obvious it's this, isn't it? So what they do is they go, everyone says Rookie's teammates are bad and he gets injured, so I guess he just is the most unlucky player ever. It's like, yes, I would literally pick Rookie as the most unlucky player in a team game in the history of esports. Like, I've followed all major esports that were team games, the ones I've followed. I've never seen a player where almost every roster, I even think the roster that won fucking Worlds and the LPL is not a complete roster. Like, that does not deserve 1 to 5 to be like in a Hall of Fame. It's like, you know, wow, this is what League of Legends was capable of. Like, that really was mainly TheShy and Rookie fucking smurfed that fuck out that world and were like unbeatable in lane in the playoffs. The problem is, in his career, I actually think it's a problem the LPL's had a lot of times, but especially Rookie teams have never, in my opinion, had a really good jungle support duo. Never, ever. That's all. It was never even carry positions. I'm fine with TheShy. I could even take fuckers like Wayward when they were having decent times. The problem I always thought was, you think of the like cerebral shot calling positions in LPL, it was never Rookie's teams that had them. In fact, IG was notoriously bad. They'd always have one that was bad. I think this is the first time ever I can, to some degree, look, JJ hasn't been in a top team for a couple of years now. You have to go back to like spring of 2023 when EGG was still good. I thought he was excellent when they won that Worlds. He had a fabulous fucking run through. And actually, like everyone knows, I'm a massive Mako fan. I think Mako's just actually an underrated all-time great. So that's the reason I'm also super psyched. Is I still think Rookie's got enough in the tank. He can be like second or third best mid. He showed it to me the last couple of years. So I want to see what happens when he finally plays with like real players in these positions, not people who like a fucking engaged bot or just a guy who just plays in a certain meta or whatever.
I think the people who haven't watched at least like playoffs of LPL, you know, I'm not gonna pretend like I watch every single games of LPL. I don't. I just watch the playoffs because it's too much, you know, with because I watch the LFL, right? LFL is a huge amount of games. I think that I've seen so many people glazing Yagao over Rookie. And I always thought like, you know, it's like Yagao is just enabling people. He does it well, right? I think he did it well, but I always felt like, you know, you got to watch.
The eye test doesn't check between those two players. If you look on the screen, you can pretty clearly tell who's Aberdeen.
Right, the eye test really doesn't fail. Like I think Rookie is like, if you give space to Rookie, you know the team fight's gonna be easier. Yagao, outside of making space, he's very good at finding flank angles. He has 1 or 2 picks that I think is pretty remarkable on. But I never thought that this guy was like standing out. Even a guy like Xiao, as a carry, when he can pick his champ, has way more pressure and impact over the game. You know, if he picks Lucian, the first 15 minutes of the game are hell for every team that plays against them. I never felt that way with Yagao. I always felt like he has a very good sense of where the game is gonna be, and he's gonna be there and play very decently. Rookie always have to find like this insane spell, you know, like spell value, like you press Orion and you hit 4 players at max range, otherwise the game's lost. So I would say that Rookie is very, very underrated. It's just the game has changed lots. And it's very, very hard to compare the raw carry potential, because if raw carry potential was the only thing that mattered, Genji would have made the Grand Slam this year, and they would make it next year and probably the year after.
I did realise I brain farted. It's JJ, not Jun on the team. JJ, Mako, is better because like that was like peak. Like that was like the best they've been. That is actually an interesting. That is actually more. What would you call it, more interesting? Because that does actually give like. Here's the thing. I trust the rookie to when he's given a very good stable platform, right? To be really responsible with leads and be really responsible with objectives and be really responsible with map setups, right? Okay. Now I'm not saying TheShy is a bum. But when given those platforms, I don't think he will be like as responsible. So I think it'll be one of the litmus tests for this team is how responsible will TheShy be when he's like given like certain like game situations and like setups. You know, I think one thing that really helps them right now is it's going to be fearless, and the early game snowball of the game is insane right now. So you know, what I mean, they could come out all guns blazing and be very, very good very, very quickly. It's just I think the LPL is like upgraded in a lot of ways and they'll like struggle. But they're going to be such a mega exciting team. Like I actually can't wait to watch them. It is actually just what I wanted. It's like such a sick team to like have around again, and it's got that run back quality to it. It's mega. It's going to be mega to watch.
It's a blessing for the LPL. I think the LPL was like losing a little bit of speed with the consolidation. A lot of like Chinese names are not as shiny for the Western audience. I think that just this IG team is a reason for a lot of Western people to tune back to the LPL instead of the LCK, because there is plenty of very poor quality LCK match that like people watch over very high quality LPL games. And I hope that having a relatable team for Western audience, as well as like mainstream co-streaming for like a lot of languages, is gonna bring LPL back on the foreground of the scene for Western audiences.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.